Welcome to American Music. I'm Kirby Pierce, and our program today is about the life and music of California singer-songwriter Kate Wolf. We've prepared a short biography to help introduce her to you.
Kate Wolf was born Catherine Louise Allen on January 27, 1942, and passed away on December 10, 1986. A San Francisco native, Kate's musical life was based in Northern California, especially in Sonoma County, and it blossomed to bring her national recognition by the time of her passing away at age 44 of leukemia. Through her poetic artistry and memorable melodies, Kate's published songs and beautifully produced record albums continue to contribute meaningful simplicity, much of it autobiographical, to the lives of like-minded enthusiasts. Kate Wolf's life is a unique American story, and we are so happy that we can share that with you on American Music.
Kate appeared on television many times on Austin City Limits to Standing Ovations, and twice on Garrison Keillor's Prairie Home Companion, which you may be familiar with. Her album, Give Yourself to Love, was voted the best folk album of 1983 by the National Association of Independent Record Producers. And Poet's Heart, her final studio album, was named Folk Album of 1986 as well. Compiled gold in California after that, and of course there have been several posthumous releases. We have some folks in the studio here to help us along with our discussion about Kate's life and music, and I'd like to introduce them. First is Sherry Fowler, Ms. Hannah Wolf, and Mr. Max Wolf. And Hannah, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about how Kate's music was a part of your young life.
It was just everywhere. This was Mom's job, and so we spent a fair amount of time with hanging out backstage with sound checks and concerts and doing homework, listening to bluegrass playing in the next room. There were a lot of mornings where we would wake up and step over sleeping musicians on the living room floor after a late night jam session or a rehearsal. It even went as far as Girl Scout camp.
Girl Scout camp.
So Kate was a Girl Scout, her mother was a Girl Scout, I was a Girl Scout, and so she and I went to camp together one year. And she told the story of Jenny Wind to a terrified audience of 8-year-old girls. And it was an awesome experience. And everybody was like, "That was your mom?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was my mom," telling the ghost stories.
Yeah, wow. Max, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your involvement with Kate's music.
When I was young, I also remember going to lots of concerts and shows. In the early days, have to be hanging out in the backs of bars because I was too young to actually be in the front. And then later on, I was roadie and sold albums from the stage, big LPs, and Kate always came out during intermission and signed them, autographed them, and chatted to everybody. People really liked that. So that was one of my fondest memories of being there and frequently with the music.
Yeah, she was famous for that. She always came out and talked to people after the performances, and people really looked forward to that.
Yeah.
It was a way of connecting. Terry, I'd like to ask you, could you tell us a little bit about the Owl Records and another Sundown Publishing Company, your team management as a family of the family business, and Kate's work as an independent artist who started and ran that business?
Well, Kate started with, her another Sundown Publishing to copyright her songs in the early 70s. Mm-hmm. And then in 75 she started recording her own, put out her own music because she talked to people got some advice about it, how to put out your own recording. And she started Owl Records to put out the first album, Backroads. And then it followed that up, kept writing and put out lines on the paper the next year. And then she entered into an agreement with her third album, Safe at Anchor, with a local record company, Kaleidoscope Records. And but she leased all the first three to them. They were involved in it, but she leased them to them so that she still had control. And she did all her own bookings and managed all the financial aspects of the business herself. She was really a hands-on, not just a songwriter, but all the business aspects that a lot of songwriters have problems with. She was really good at that. And so we got, when Kate and I got together, we and were married in '82. I became a partner with her on her music with all the business licenses and legal papers. And she continued to do all the booking and everything. She was always in control of everything. And then when she passed away, Max and Hannah joined up with me to manage her music. And we put out the 2 songbooks and the video initially from Austin City Limits. And then we've just continued to manage her music by meeting periodically, and then we'll talk if we need to by email or phone. And we have sometimes different opinion. You know, it's like different opinions of things that we put in to try to come out with the best forward movement on promoting Kate's stuff and dealing with the issues. So it's been a, you know, kind of a gradual movement into when Kate passed away, because all of a sudden the main player was not there.
Right.
And so we had to, we just developed our own relationship. We'd been around each other, and Max in particular was around more with the music. So it was a pretty good movement into it, but like I said, the main player was missing, so we had to continually think of the best way to move forward with things the way she would do it, because we learned a lot from her, the way she dealt with her music.
Well, she was certainly an independent businesswoman.
Yes.
And managed all of her own affairs. Were you guys involved in that early on, or was that only after Kate's passing?
For me, it was after Kate's passing, because I was 19 when she died and I was still in college. So my early years were carrying things that were appropriate for my size and age. But
I
Max
see.
had a lot more kind of adult experience
Right.
with
I
it.
was in college as well, and right after she passed, we started working on all of the projects, the first Kate Wolf songbook and everything. And we weren't quite sure how long all this was going to last. We were, you know, the popularity-wise, how long her music would stay in people's minds. And here we are 30 years later, and it's just grown, and it's actually been quite amazing to have everybody's enthusiasm, and several posthumous albums, and the Kate Wolf Music Festival that's been going on for 22 years now.
Have you been involved in the festival at all?
Yeah, I've been to every festival from day one. Before the first one happened, Cloud Moss, the festival organizer, called us up and said, "What do you folks think about this? I want to check in with the family." And he had already lined up all the people who played with Kate during her career, many of them. And so we were totally on board with that, and it turned out to be a really wonderful thing. Started off as a single-day event, and we weren't sure it was just going to be a one-time festival.
Right.
But it was so popular, we just kept bringing it back.
Well, it's certainly been a great festival. I've been to the festival several times. I've played there. It's a lot of fun, and there's been some great big-name artists there. Taj Mahal has played there.
Joan Baez, right, Emmylou Harris, quite a few.
Yeah, I think my kids have been there every year since they were born, and I think they're old enough now to understand the caliber of musicians that they see at the festival, and to understand how much love there is out there for Kate still, and Kate's music, and to grow up with that, that's a rare privilege.
It really is. There's still a lot of people hearing Kate's music for the first time, which is sort of amazing to me, given how long the music's been out there. Were either of you guys involved in any of the recordings early on?
Not me.
I was.
You have a good story.
I played triangle on Poet's Heart. That was my contribution. That's about how much, yes.
Well, there you go. You're a recording artist.
Right, yes.
Terry, were you involved in any of the recordings?
No, just well, initially it was the Give Yourself to Love, the live recordings that I was with Kate through all those, and just acted as a kind of support person with her, and if she needed her shoulders massaged to release the tension and any nervousness before getting up on stage, then I was more a support person because you know, just little things to help everything run smoother.
So you were on the business side as well as personal support, one might say.
Yeah.
Yes. And selling CDs.
Right. Well, back then it was LPs.
That's
only
right.
LPs.
LPs.
Yeah, she used to lug them everywhere that she went. And one time Max was with her up north somewhere, and they were running low, and I sent a box of them up Greyhound that got up there the next day. So it was, she sometimes, she would just sell them, you know. I mean, people would just come out of the woodwork to, they heard about her and she was in, they couldn't leave without buying her LP, you know. She really touched people deeply with her songwriting and the warmth of the delivery, and of course, coming out and talking to people afterwards, it was just part of the way she did things. She just loved to hear people's stories about how her music affected them.
Right. That was one of the things I liked the most about Kate, was that coming out and talking to people afterwards. And I never had a chance to tell her that I have a daughter named Emma Rose, but I would have liked to have told her that. I'd like to hear a little bit about the first band, about the Wildwood Flower, and anything you can tell us about that?
Sure. The Wildwood Flower was on Kate's first 2 albums. So when she first started playing, she didn't really have a band, but she got a group of folks together to have, you know, a full ensemble on the album. And then they also performed in concerts. And they were on Backroads and Lines on the Paper. Mixture of folks, mandolin, bass guitar. And the members varied a little bit over time. And eventually she moved to not really having a band. Nina Gerber joined her. Right. After the first 2 albums, and then she and Nina were in lockstep for many, many years.
Any memories about the band you'd like to share?
Well, I remember Nina playing the Woody Woodpecker theme on the guitar to entertain me when I was very young. I mean, she's a phenomenal musician, and sort of many stories about Nina that we could share. But the band that took place, that sort of took shape around Kate, with Don Coffin, who you'll meet.
Right, we'll meet Don in the next
elsewhere on the show, was just a very warm group of people. I mean, even with kids running around underfoot, it's like it was again, sort of back to your earlier question, that was, music was just always there, and the band was sort of like our aunts and uncles.
One big happy family.
And there was a dobro player, Eddie B. Barlow, that added a nice element to there was a change of musicians periodically, and he was playing with her for a while, and the dobro added a nice element on a number of songs that I always enjoyed, and he played with her, all the way periodically through the Close to You album. He would play with her, and so she was always kind of, you know, it's like people that enjoyed playing with her, and sometimes people were, like sometimes musicians are, where they move around a bit, and sometimes people were in Sonoma County and sometimes they weren't, so she would kind of pick up who was available to supplement her songs and her singing.
Yeah.
Right, and we should mention another band that Kate played with quite a bit, the Cache Valley Drifters.
Right.
They were on Lines on the Paper, and members played with Kate off and on in different albums. And one of the members, Bill Griffin, actually produced and co-produced some of her albums, and they worked together for quite a long time. And Kate tells a story where Bill told a story where they just happened to meet up by chance, and he mentioned they were looking for a gig, and Kate was like, well, come play with me. Tomorrow, yeah. And it happened, and they played together. And there are several stories like this where she would just meet up with somebody and kind of join forces and full trust in everything, and off they went.
And Bill's story was that he was asking around when he came up one summer to on the Russian River, and where's some music gigs around here? And everybody was saying, well, find Kate Wolf. She knows where everything is.
Well, certainly she had some top quality musicians playing with her. I've always felt like the work that she and Nina did together was just magical, the two of them together. There was a real special musical relationship there. But with all the players, honestly, with all the bands, they were really, really good. I think Nina's in the, with her in the Austin City Limits
her
video.
performance on there is amazing.
Yeah.
She talked about how in the early days how she played to Kate. Kate would play to the audience,
right?
But Nina was just locked into Kate from the very first time she heard her play. She was like playing, complimenting whatever feeling that Kate was playing. She could come in and compliment that, and that was the beauty of them playing together, is that she just added so much of that deep feeling that Kate put out in her songwriting. Nina could bring that out in additional instrument.
So can you tell us a little bit more about Kate's performing time? Maybe some other folks that she performed with, or some particular performance that sticks in your mind?
One that sticks in my mind is the concert in Nevada City that was put together as a benefit for her after she had become ill.
Yes.
And this was Wavy Gravy and an enormous community of people coming together to look after Kate and help her out. And she was hidden backstage, and the audience didn't know that she was going to be there. So at the end of the show, out comes this woman in a sparkly mylar wig, because she had lost most of her hair to chemotherapy at that point, and just tore the roof off the place. I mean, it was an amazing outpouring from the audience when they realized that was her on stage.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing these stories about the performances and about Kate's life. Helps us to get to know her a little bit better, and possibly to even know her music a little bit better. So thank you very much, all of you.
Pleasure.
When we come back, we'll meet Don Coffin, and we'll hear some really beautiful music. We'll be right back.
Looking back at you with all the love we've found, though the hills were brown. There's no gold, no gold.
Hi, I'm Darren Lachelle, Content Manager for KRCB.
And I'm Joshua Dillon Mellors, a television producer at KRCB North Bay Public Media.
This program, American Music, Kate Wolf, has been a wonderful exploration of her music, and we've gotten to learn so much about not only her work, but also her family and the people who knew her.
Certainly. What a great opportunity to get to know the artist a little bit better. And, you know, Darren, when I was a baby in 1976, my parents took me to the Western Regional Folk Festival out at Fort Cronkite, just in the Marin Headlands, and Kate Wolf was singing. And even as a baby, I think her music reached me. What an incredible performer.
This is a great experience, and you'll only find great, inspiring music like the music of Kate Wolf right here on KRCB. And at KRCB, this is where you'll find the very best in music 365 days a year. Now, the legacy of Kate Wolf here in Sonoma County and throughout the North Bay is very strong, and we've been enjoying over 2 decades of the Kate Wolf Music Festival right here in our own backyard, coming up in just a few weeks. But right now, we're here to celebrate her music and her life. It's been wonderful listening to her children talk about her legacy, as well as those who made music with her. And in just a moment, we're going to hear more from some of the musicians who contributed to the new compact disc recording, Kate Wolf, An Unfinished Life. And we'll tell you more about that. So now it is time to call 1-800-287-2722 and make your pledge of support right now.
And here's a great opportunity to get some wonderful CDs and other gifts and make your donation to KRCB. First on our list, we've got at an $80 pledge level, a CD and booklet entitled Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells. And this is one of the many stories from Kate's life. And definitely check that out. At a $60 level, we've got a CD entitled A Kate Wolf Retrospective, another great opportunity to get to know the artist and listen to her music and collaborations with other well-known artists. At the $100 pledge level, we have a DVD entitled An Evening in Austin. And An Evening in Austin is a 75-minute video soundtrack, and it was awarded the Best Folk Album of 1989. You'll see performances of all kinds of classic Kate Wolf songs, such as Eyes of a Painter, Green Eyes, Picture Puzzle, Brother Warrior, Carolina Pina's Crying Shame, Love Still Remains, Like a River, Give Yourself to Love, Pacheco, and many more. And of course, my favorite, The Red-Tailed Hawk. And on to the $160 pledge level, there's a CD, Owl Records album of 4 discs. And what a great opportunity to get to know the artist better and get to know her work better. Get these 4 discs at $160 pledge level and also contribute to KRCB North Bay Public Media and make it possible for us to continue to bring you wonderful programs like this Kate Wolf special. So please make your donation and give a call at 1-800-287-2722 or go to krcb.org/donate.
And we also have some great packages we can send your way when you call the number on your screen, 1-800-287-2722. And I would like to tell you about some of those great gift packages we'll send to you when you call and talk to one of our helpful volunteers right now. We want to start out with this great package at the $150 pledge level. It's a CD of My Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells, along with that DVD that Joshua told you about, An Evening in Austin. At the $125 level, we'll send you the compact disc recording of A Kate Wolf Retrospective, and again, that DVD, An Evening in Austin. Those come your way at the $125 pledge level. At the $200 pledge level, we'll send you both CDs and the Kate Wolf Songbook. The Kate Wolf Songbook is volume 1 of her songs. There are 57 songs in all, 160 pages with 75 photos. Also at the $200 pledge level, we have both CDs and Kate Wolf Revisited, and that's the volume 2 of her songbook with 95 songs at a 190 pages with 50 photos, concert posters, and a foreword by Tom Paxton. And then finally, at $250, we'll send you that Owl Record Album Collection along with the DVD, An Evening in Austin. A great package.
And what an incredible collection that you can get by simply making a donation. You can donate and pay whatever price, the $160 level, the $60 level, the $80 level, but you can also pay in installments. And so KRCB will just take maybe $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever you stipulate. And it's a great way of paying in installments, but an even better way is to become a sustaining member. And you can just continue on as a sustaining member, giving a monthly gift card from KRCB. And you'll never forget to renew this way. You can pay through Visa, MasterCard, Discover. There's all kinds of ways to show your support and keep great shows like the Kate Wolf Special and other music programs on KRCB to enjoy.
In this next segment, we're going to meet some of the great musicians that contributed to the new CD, An Unfinished Life. And so that's going to be fascinating, so stay tuned for that.
And now back to American music, Kate Wolf.
I find the truest paths always lead through mountains.
Welcome back. We have some new guests in the studio to talk about Kate Wolf and her music, and I'd like to introduce them now. I'd like to introduce Gloria Strasberg,
Hello.
Gus Gorelick,
Hi there.
and Don Coffin.
Hi, everybody.
And Don, we'd like to start right off with you. We've heard a little bit about the Wildwood Flower, but I wonder if you could speak to us a little bit about life with Kate and with Max and Hannah when they were younger.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to. Kate and I met in 1971. We were kind of accidentally doubly booked at a little country bar in Vallejo. And we made the best of it by sharing the evening. And we ended up sharing the next 7 years together. It was pretty exciting and challenging times. I say that for basically the same reason, because you know, it was exciting because Kate was so prolific during that period. She wrote songs about everything, about a mailbox by the road, an apple tree and a lilac bush, a trumpet vine in the window. Anything could trigger her imagination to make a song out of. And it was remarkable to come home to that. And the challenging part was coming home from my mail route and learning those songs to perform on the weekend somewhere, like a freight and salvage. So it was wonderful and exciting, and we had a home in Sonoma County. We got a little farmhouse on 3 acres outside of Santa Rosa, and it became a way station for all sorts of people passing through. Lots and lots of musicians. Max and Hannah lived there alternative years, and we had a great time. That was their country life. Then they went down to the city on weekends or alternate years to have the life down there. So it was an awful lot of fun. And the house was an old Victorian farmhouse. And inside the front door was a parlor. In that parlor was a upright grand piano, and Kate composed a lot of her songs on that piano. I just remember the sounds of it just so clearly. And at the beginning of the year, Max invited me to be part of a celebration of Kate's life down in Berkeley. And I was thinking ahead about that, and it also made me think in retrospect about our life together. And I accidentally ran across a poem that I really, really liked. And the essence of this poem, it's called Music by Ann Porter. And it talks about a young girl and a piano. And right on our piano in that parlor was a picture of Kate at about age 3, I think, with her grandmother looming over her, a beatific smile on her face. When I read this poem, it brought that picture right back to mind, like it was just yesterday. This is called Music by Ann Porter, and if anything, it evokes my feeling about Kate's music. When I was a child, I once sat sobbing on the floor beside my mother's piano as she played and sang, for there was in her singing a shy yet solemn glory that my smallness could not hold. When I was asked why was I crying, I had no words for it. I only shook my head and went on crying. Why is it that music at its most beautiful opens a wound in us, an ache? A desolation deep as a homesickness for some far-off and half-forgotten country. I've never understood why this is so, but there's an ancient legend from the other side of the world that gives away the secret of this mysterious sorrow. For centuries on centuries, we've been wondering. But we were made for paradise as a deer for the forest, and when the music comes to us with its heavenly beauty, it brings us desolation. For when we hear it, we half remember that lost native country. We dimly remember the fields with their fragrant, wind-swept clover and the bird songs in the orchards, the wild white violets in the moss, by the transparent streams. And shining at the heart of it is the longed-for beauty of the one who waits for us, who will always wait for us in those radiant meadows, yet also came to live with us and wanders where we wander. And that's it. Ann
That's a
Porter.
beautiful poem.
Yeah.
By
Ann Porter.
By Ann Porter.
Yeah.
That's a
So
lovely
that kind of, to me, that explains a lot about Kate's music. There's sort of an eternal quality about it that draws people, even after, 40 or 50 years, people are still gravitating towards those songs.
It's true. And new people being introduced to them every day.
That's right.
Kind of amazing. Well, I'd like to talk to you each a little bit about your own music. And Gloria, let's start a little bit with you. What are you up to these days?
Well, I've been busy for the last really 5 years putting this project together. I sang the solo parts on this project on the CD, and that took a lot of time and energy. But also, I also sang with a choir, the California Redwood Chorale. We traveled to Italy a few years back and sang in churches. I'm really a folk music singer, I think. If I was to describe myself, I think I was naturally a folk singer. But I dabble and I try other things. I've been doing theater forever in this community because I like to entertain, I like to perform. I think I probably started singing at age 8. Okay, and I first learned about Kate when I was about 20, when I found one of her records in a thrift shop, probably for 25 cents, okay?
Wow.
It was Backroads.
Yeah.
And I learned that entire album, and I would go around singing that song. And I actually saw Don Coffin's picture on the back of that album. And so for me to be able to sit here now with Don is, I mean, nothing short of a miracle, or what I call everyday miracles, synchronistic events. So yeah, that's kind of brings you up to date with me.
Well, very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sure.
Gus, a little bit about you, perhaps?
Yeah, I don't know quite where to begin, but should mention Don because we've been in a band together for almost 20 years called the Hot Frittatas.
Yes, very
And it's
familiar.
very totally different from Kate Wolf's music,
Yes,
but
yes.
it's mostly Italian cafe music. And I lived in San Francisco in the 70s, so I knew about Kate Wolf from listening to the radio. I never really met her
Right.
until much later.
KPFA.
But I was hanging out at little cafes in North Beach and hearing these old Italian guys playing absolutely gorgeous music on mandolins and accordions. And as they started fading away and dying, I said, somebody needs to keep playing this kind of music because this is gorgeous stuff.
Right.
And I was actually playing a lot of bluegrass music at the time, but eventually Don and I got together here in Sonoma County and ran through a couple of tunes, and we said, let's play this and see what happens.
Wow.
And here we are. We're still doing it.
That's great.
So
For how long have you been playing together?
almost 20 years, I think.
Really?
Yeah, we've
what
known
year
each
is
other
it?
about 25 years, but the
Yeah.
Hot Frittatas have been on for about 18 or 19 years.
It depends when we got serious.
Right.
And we got together and we decided let's just make a recording and see what happens. And Doug Jane has a studio here in town, and
Yes.
we recorded there in basically one session. I think we just
Yeah.
with an accordion player.
Uh-huh.
And then it's been through three printings. So apparently there's a lot of people, more people than I imagine, want to hear the old Italian stuff.
That's excellent. Well,
And the irony is that I'm not Italian at all, but I just love the music. So.
I certainly understand that. It is amazing, all the different types of music and people who love all of them. You know. Don, how about a little bit about yourself musically?
Oh, yeah. You know, the thing about playing with Gus, and he introduced me to Italian music, that music has a transportive quality about it. I mean, it can take you somewhere. And that's really attractive music to me when it evokes something, when it puts you in a space of, other, like someplace
Yes.
else.
Yes.
And a lot of the music we play has that quality about it. It could be the soundtrack to so many lives, really. I mean, the transportiveness of this type of music just takes you out of yourself. And I love that.
Yeah, we used to play at the old French Garden restaurant in Sebastopol. And everybody would say exactly that. We feel like we've been transported to Rome or to Paris. And that's a really valuable thing for music to do. It's, I think, why I played music my whole life.
So I didn't have to get on the plane. I could have just come to the French Garden
You should have
restaurant.
saved
and
a
I would
lot of
have been
money.
right there in Italy.
That's right.
Well, and I think what you say is very true about music and music taking us places, and I think that's one of the very special things about Kate's music.
Sure.
And speaking of Kate's music, I understand we're going to get to hear you guys perform Red Tail Hawk for us.
Yes.
And Green Eyes?
And that's in another segment.
Well, thank you all so much for coming and sharing your stories. And now let's hear Red Tail Hawk.
The red-tailed hawk writes songs across the sky. There's music in the water flowing by. You can hear his song each time the wind sighs in the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. It's been so long, love, since you said goodbye. My cabin's been as lonesome as a cry. There's comfort in the clouds drifting by. In the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. Yes, a neighbor came today to lend a hand. He saw I fixed the road as best I can. There's just some things that need a man's hand. In the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California. The red-tailed hawk writes songs across the sky. There's music in the water flowing by. You can hear his song each time the wind sighs. In the golden rolling hills of California. In the golden rolling hills of California.
Thank you very much for that wonderful song, all of you. And when we come back, we'll hear more from Gloria and from Hannah and Max.
Hi, I'm Joshua Dillon Mellors, a television producer here at KRCB North Bay Public Media.
And I'm Darren Lachelle, KRCB's content manager.
And we just watched an incredible rendition of Kate Wolf's Red-Tailed Hawk. What a beautiful and haunting performance to one of her classics, actually a song that became sort of emblematic of her work.
A beautiful song, and you know, coming up later in the program, we're going to hear Green Eyes from Gloria and Gus and Dawn, so you'll want to make sure to stay tuned for that.
And you can only find music like this and programs like this right here on KRCB North Bay Public Media. We've got some great gifts where you can show your support and also pick up and get some extra CDs in your collection of Kate Wolf. Our first CD is at the $80 pledge level, and it's a CD and booklet entitled Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells. And this is one of the many stories from Kate's life, interpreted here in this new style of American choral singing. At the $60 pledge level, you can get a CD entitled A Kate Wolf Retrospective. Our public radio station KRCB-FM released this Kate Wolf Retrospective, a recording of the very first Kate Wolf Memorial Festival in 1996. And what a great festival. It's still going strong, and you can catch her and some of the great artists she's performed with. At the $100 pledge level, you can get a DVD, An Evening in Austin. An Evening in Austin is a 70-minute video soundtrack which was awarded the Best Folk Album of 1989. And you can hear many of her classic songs, including The Red-Tailed Hawk, and many others, and when you go and get this gift. And the next one is at the $160 pledge level, a CD, Owl Record Albums, and it's 4 discs. What a great opportunity to get to know the artist better if you already know Kate Wolf, or if you don't know her so well, to get an introduction to her work. The Bay Area is such a great place for folk music, and Kate Wolf is a part of that tapestry, was a part of that tapestry, and through these CDs and gifts, you can continue to hear the incredible legacy that she's left here. So please give a pledge, 1-800-287-2722, or go online and make your donation.
Here on KRCB TV and KRCB FM, we bring you the very best in music every single day of the year. Folk, Americana, blues, jazz, you'll find it here on KRCB. In fact, you'll have the best seat in the house, so to speak, whenever you watch or listen. And as part of that tradition, we're bringing you today American Music, Kate Wolf, this fantastic program produced here at KRCB in association with American Music and celebrating Kate's music and her legacy and the memories that so many people who were close to her have. So here, we're going to listen to a special message from her daughter, Hannah Wolf.
Our mom only let us watch public television when we were growing up, which was annoying at the time, but turned out to be very important for our development into adulthood. We hope that you will support your local public television station to keep music and programming like this in the world. Thank you.
And what a great message from Hannah Wolf, Kate Wolf's daughter. And we encourage you, there's so many great ways to show your support for KRCB North Bay Public Media. And in addition to just putting down a one-time sum on some of the gift items that we're offering, you can also contribute at a smaller level, at just a monthly level. So you could do $5 a month, or $10 a month, or $17 a month, or whatever makes sense to you. You can also become a sustaining member and just keep the money coming in, so to speak, and keep KRCB its coffers full so we can continue to produce great programs like this Kate Wolf special.
So give us a call now, 1-800-287-2722. Pledge your support, like Joshua said, to great musical programs right here on KRCB. And make sure they come to you all year long. We have some more gifts to tell you about. Some great gift packages we'll send your way when you give us a call or when you join online. So let's start out to tell you about this CD and DVD combo. At the $150 pledge level, we'll send you Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells, along with the DVD An Evening in Austin. At the $125 level, we'll send you the CD, A Kate Wolf Retrospective, and the DVD, An Evening in Austin. At the $200 level, we'll send you both CDs and the Kate Wolf Songbook. This is Volume 1. It's 57 songs, 160 pages with 75 great photos and a foreword written by Bruce Utah Phillips. And it was written for guitar, published in May of 1988. Also at the $200 pledge level, we can send you both CDs and the Kate Wolf Revisited Songbook 2, and that's the second volume, which has 50 photos as well as concert posters. And at the $250 level, we'll send you the Owl Record Album Collection. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to hear another great performance from Gloria and Dawn and Gus.
Now we return to American Music, Kate Wolf.
It's an unfinished life that I find lies before me, an open-ended dream, and I don't want to wake. No, I don't want to wake.
Welcome back. We have Max and Hannah still with us from previous segment, and also joining us is Gloria Strasberg whose voice you heard in the lovely choral music that we just listened to. And I was wondering, Gloria, if you could talk to us a little bit about how that all came about.
Oh, I'd love to tell you about how the CD started. Actually, the project started 20 years ago, quite honestly, when Randall Keith Horton, who's the composer, arranger of this music, when he heard of Kate's untimely passing, he sat down and composed this choral arrangement. I met Randall years later. I think I met Randall in the early 90s, and we just kind of kicked around and did music, and he never told me about the choral piece at all. A few years went by, and he moved to New York.
Right.
Lost touch with him.
Yeah.
And then through the use of social media, I found him. And he flew out, and we sat down over coffee, and he told me about this piece he had written for Kate. And he said, I'm writing an alto solo line above the choral line, and he says, Glow, it's your voice I hear in the alto solo line. And he says, we just have to get it, we have to find a choir, and we have to get it produced. And I said, let's go.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. Wow. That's how it started. But, you know, really the actual production piece was about 5 years in the making, I think. And we started with the California Redwood Chorale. We started with a spin-off out in Occidental, and then it went out to the East Coast. There was another choral arrangement out there. Randall blended it all together. But, you know, all that happens with, you know, but the grace of us. We go before us, and it happens. But there's always that aspect, that's the practical aspect, and that's the financial piece.
Right.
And so without Max and Hannah, we would not have had that done at all. It was their help that was so instrumental in getting us the funding we needed.
And a lot of it came from Kate's fans, because we did the whole crowdfunding
Right.
online, which worked very well, and got a lot of positive feedback from the Kate Wolf newsletter folks and Randall's, folks as well. And they helped bring it to life.
Well, I know there was a lot of talk about that when it went out for funding. People that I knew in musical circles were talking about it and saying, hey, we need to do something here. We need to make this happen. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty effective, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it worked great. And then once all that came in, then we could get started on the physical aspects of it, figuring out how we're going to do the artwork and duplication and all that, which is my forte. Not so much the music, can't sing at all or anything, but I enjoy doing the business end of it.
Well, there's business in music too. It has to be there.
I was very pleased to work with Randall a little bit in providing feedback on the score as it was taking shape. I'm a choral singer and have been since I was very young, and I have always wanted to hear Kate's music arranged for a choir, so this was an especially joyful work to undertake. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you actually contributed in editing the score and
I would say it was a little more general than that, just with some feedback on certain aspects of it. But
I see.
It's still recognizably Kate's music. It's just fascinating to hear it, a familiar melody, an idea taken apart and kind of reconstructed in a different way. So.
Well, it's pretty amazing to me as you listen to the music to realize the universality of her composition, that could actually be done. That's no small thing. Taking a song that someone wrote to be performed essentially for a voice, single voice and guitar, and suddenly there's two choruses, not one but two choruses, and it's a pretty large undertaking.
And not just one or two songs. We sat down and looked at it and we realized there are bits and pieces of 9 or 10 different songs, most of which Kate wrote, but also a couple that she performed frequently but didn't actually write, that are woven into the text of the piece.
But I was going to say, the title, Unfinished Life. If you look at the CD and you have a chance to read the liner notes, you'll see that Randall took pieces of her songs, but he created a journey. Her journey as she began and as he put it, across the Great Divide. And he brought us through the different changes of what it would be to be passing from this world, and how important her presence was and how much she gave. And he did it's a beautiful testament is what it really is to your mother. It's a beautiful, moving testament, and it's alive. It brought forth new life. Mm-hmm. And like you say, it bubbled up a whole new awareness.
Exactly.
With a different spin.
Yes, and probably people be hearing that music and may not be familiar with Kate's work. And then through this medium, they'll have a chance to explore maybe some more of her work. So that would be a good thing. Is that was basically your involvement then in the CD, the on the business side and the working through the score and making some suggestions
Right.
about that.
Right.
Yeah. Is there any other kind of interesting Kate stories that we haven't heard that might be interesting for
Well,
everyone?
I mean, she was our mom, so there's all kinds of good mom stories.
I'm sure
But
there are.
one of my favorites was the day we were driving somewhere, and it was just an ordinary, like, taking the kid to the dentist appointment kind of driving somewhere. And Kate was driving, and suddenly her muse struck, and she had to write down song lyrics, like right then. So she was literally driving with one hand on the wheel and one hand writing something on a napkin on her lap.
Oh.
And I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. And of course, nothing bad happened, but it was a moment where it was clear that her creative process was definitely in charge.
Uh-huh. Do we know which song that was?
No, I wish I did. I wish I did, but no.
Well, that's a great story. That's good. Max, anything you'd like to share with us?
One memory I think back fondly upon is a tour that my mom and I took about a year before she passed away, before she knew she was ill. It was in the fall of '85, and we flew out to the East Coast and got a van or something somehow, and started in Maine and worked our way all the way down the coast to Florida, stopping many different places, all different sizes, and watching the leaves change color, which she absolutely loved. And sometimes she'd pick up a session musician on the way, but mainly it was her and I, and I'm selling records from the stage in between sets.
Right.
And then we ended up in a beach in Florida, hung out for a couple of days as our reward for a long tour.
Oh, that must have been a lot of fun.
Yes, it was great to have all that time together.
Yeah. Well, and you guys are both still very involved in Kate's music, in bringing that music out to other people, and the festival as well. You both are regular attendees at the festival.
Oh yes, lifelong attendees.
Can we speak a little bit about that?
It's a continuing joy to me that the festival exists, and we're happy to lend our support to it. We don't actually do the concert organization. That's Cloud Moss and Cumulus Productions and the people at Black Oak Ranch who run a totally professional
Absolutely so.
event up there. We just get to come along for the ride and sell T-shirts and
that's
CDs
great.
and meet people who are either familiar with Kate's music or just getting to know it. And so
Right.
one of my favorite questions I get is, I don't know Kate's music, which CD should I get? That's a great question to have because it's a hard one to answer. So I answer it differently, I think, depending what mood I'm in.
Oh, that is interesting. Knowing what to, it's always difficult recommending music for another person. You know,
Yes.
If you don't know their tastes and what they do. You have a stock answer that you go to?
Well, there are certain songs of hers that are my all-time favorites, and so I usually
Right.
look for those.
Yeah.
But then if you ask Max the same question, he probably would have a different answer.
Well, I would ask Max the same question.
Well, my personal favorite is Safe at Anchor.
Uh-huh.
There's several songs in there I absolutely love. That's her third album.
Right, right.
And we recently reprinted that, thanks again to crowdfunding. We got Kate's first 3 albums reprinted on her original Owl Records label. And that was a project long coming, but, because the artwork didn't exist anymore, we had to rebuild all of that from scratch.
Oh.
Right. And that's one of a number of projects we've had over the years, either doing the video or songbooks, other posthumous albums.
Now, you've done a group of songbooks of Kate's music as well, isn't that right?
Right, yeah. The first book has all her songs from the albums she recorded, and the second book has songs from the later albums, plus a number of songs where we never found any music to it, just the lyrics. So we included those in like a section of poetry. And then we included a number of songs that she recorded but were written by friends of hers.
Ah, yes.
So.
And I think there's a video or some videos involved as well, is that
Right,
so?
she was on Austin City Limits
Yes, that's
in the
right.
mid-'80s.
Great
and
show.
So we remastered the whole show. Nina and I went down to Austin, which was a good trip, and put it all out there. And then the record company also released the soundtrack to it. So it's wonderful to be able to have that really high-quality video of her.
And we're very grateful to the community of people who performed with Kate, people who've been her fans for a long time, who've kept her music alive and helped keep her message in the world. She would be thrilled with the choral project.
That's good to know.
She was a choral singer in high school. Her choir sang at the 1960 Squaw Valley Olympics.
Wow.
When she was at Berkeley High.
I still have the sweatshirt.
Hence why she probably went into the Peace Choir to sing with Randall. I mean, if she started as a choir singer, it was probably a great delight for her to do that.
Yes, I'm sure it was familiar and comfortable
Yeah.
territory, so I think she would have been delighted to hear about this project.
That's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. Before I forget this memory, I want to just say this
yes,
memory.
yes.
The first time I met both of you, I was at the festival 5 years ago. I drove up with the score in my hand, which was handwritten, and handed it to you at the festival.
That, yeah.
Do you remember that now?
Because I still have that score at home.
That's good. It's been changed a little bit.
It's been changed
tweaked.
a little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, everything changes, right?
But we wanted your blessing and permission is what we wanted. It was so wonderful to get that. I was like, I'll drive my car, I'm going to Laytonville. And then I got to go to the festival for the first time. And so that was, that was the
Yeah,
beginning.
of course, we loved it. And lots of folks have recorded Kate's songs. We get requests regularly. It's like, go for it. Her music's out there. It's folk music. And play it however you want to play it, whatever seems right to you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I think it's very exciting, the fact that her music is still being recorded and it's still alive. It's still a part of the musical community that we're all a part of, and it's just amazing to me. And I think hats off to you guys for all the effort that you've put into keeping all this going on. I mean, I know a lot of other people are doing the heavy lifting at the festival, but you're going up there every year, bringing the CDs and videos. Do you have the videos available up there also? It's great. And that festival has been going on for
22 years.
22 years.
Yeah, it's amazing to think
long
how long.
time.
Yeah.
Where did it start?
96, and it started in Grayton.
I thought it was in the West County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they wanted to add camping and expand it, it moved up to Black Oak Ranch.
That's up above Laytonville, I
Right.
think, isn't it? Yes, yes. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's always fun. Interesting group of people.
It's
like
a
a
magical place.
Yeah, a small
And lots
village.
of wonderful music. 4 stages when I was there last time. The big stage and then some smaller stages. It's just I think Kate would have liked it.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
Well, we've got a little bit more time here. I'd just like to dig in a little bit on some memories that you might have about Kate making music at home when she was composing and putting her songs together. Anything you can share about that?
Well, it was sort of part of daily life for us, is that there was music happening.
How lucky you are.
So, yeah, and that rehearsals would go late at night, or sometimes she would be writing and using the piano to compose. So I would occasionally hear that as I was drifting off to sleep. But her writing process to me, I think, was a little more mysterious than that, because in many cases she would just disappear into her office. When Mom went into the office, that was like things were happening. And we didn't disturb her when she was in there. When her muse had control, that was. I think that's what was happening.
Yeah. Max, anything from you on that?
I think back to our house on Dutton Avenue in Santa Rosa. I was on 3 acres of land, and one time Annalee High School came in and did a documentary just of her and a couple of folks playing in the backyard, but with mic stands and everything, and just talking about her music and how she got started, which was still pretty close to the beginning, actually, right? So,
I don't remember that.
yeah, it's cool. It's we have some old video footage of it, actually. It's in the archive.
Well, that would be interesting to see sometime. You guys have been so gracious to share so much about Kate's life and all of the music and everything. So maybe a little more, and get that video out. That would be fun.
That would be great. Yeah.
When we come back, we'll have Terry and Hannah and Max joining us once again, and we'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Darren Lachelle, Content Manager for KRCB.
And I'm Joshua Dillon Mellors, a television producer here at KRCB.
You know, in that last segment, we heard Gloria talking about how Kate Wolf's music inspired Gloria's career and the career of other musicians here in the area. And you know, you can only find great programs like this right here on public television.
That's right, Darren. She inspired so many people, and we're trying to get the message out with great programs like this Kate Wolf special. But in order to continue producing great programs like this special, we need your support. So we encourage you to make a donation, and we've got some great gifts that will hopefully entice you to make that donation right now. Starting with some CDs, some wonderful CDs that really showcase the breadth of her work. At the $80 pledge level, you can get a CD and booklet, Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells. And this is one of the many stories from Kate's life, which is interpreted here in this new style of American choral singing. Quite amazing to hear her music set to choral music. And going on from there, if you want to donate at the $60 pledge level, you can get a CD entitled A Kate Wolf Retrospective. Moving on to our $100 pledge level, you can get a DVD, which is An Evening in Austin. And this is a 75-minute video soundtrack that was awarded Best Folk Album of 1989. In this DVD, you'll listen to some of the performances of some of her iconic songs, like my favorite, The Red Tail Hawk. And she really, as Darren mentioned, has inspired a generation, and this DVD, I think, will inspire many more generations. So please donate at the $100 pledge level and get your copy of this DVD. Moving on to the $160 pledge level, there's a CD entitled From Owl Record Labels, which is 4 discs. And what a great way to get to know a little bit more of the incredible breadth of the artist's work. She really was so prolific and produced so much in a relatively short life, and was such an inspiration to so many. So please make your pledge right now at 1-800-287-2722, or you can go online.
That's right. Call us now at 1-800-287-2722. When you do call, talk to one of our friendly volunteers about making your pledge of support in installments. Now, when you call the number on your screen, you can join at an annual level, say $60 a year, and we can break that down into $5 a month installments. And you can pay that way. We try to make it as easy as possible. $120 is $10 a month, $200 is about $17 a month. Whatever the level that you join, we can break that down into easy to pay installments. And also, remember to bring your Visa, your MasterCard, or your Discover card along to the phone with you when you do call, and you can become an instant member of KRCB when you call us right now and ask for one of those gifts. Public television is an inspiring place, and we are so thankful to be able to bring you these programs. Now we're going to listen to a very special message from the son of Kate Wolf, Max Wolf.
Kate was a great supporter of the arts, especially public broadcasting, and today we can use your support as well. You've heard a lot of Kate's music today, including some songs from her first few albums, which are available to pledge donors today. We encourage you to call in and find out more about Kate's music and her recordings, including the Evening in Austin video we have, which is the original Austin City Limits show. Thank you again for your support.
So remember, give a call to the number on the screen. It's 1-800-287-2722. Call us right now.
And in addition to paying a monthly donation, you can also become a sustaining member. And what a great way to show your support for public media and programs like the Kate Wolf Special by just donating $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you want to set it, and keeping that going. And that way, when a year comes around, you don't have to worry about renewing your membership. Your membership will continue going until you choose not to. But we hope that you'll continue to support KRCB Public Media and programs like this one.
So do give us a call now, 1-800-287-2722, or online at krcb.org/donate. We have some great gift packages to tell you about before the end of this break, and we will return to the program in just a moment. At the $150 pledge level, we'll send you the CD of An Unfinished Life, as well as a DVD, An Evening in Austin. At the $125 pledge level, the Kate Wolf Retrospective CD, as well as the DVD, An Evening in Austin. Now, at the $200 pledge level, we'll send you both CDs and the Kate Wolf Songbook. That's her Volume 1. It's 57 songs, 160 pages, with 75 photos. A foreword written by Bruce Utah Phillips, and that's written for guitar, published in May of 1988. Also at the $200 pledge level, you could choose both CDs and the second volume of her songbook called The Kate Wolf Revisited, and that has 95 songs at 190 pages with 50 photos, as well as concert posters. At the $250 pledge level, we'll send you that Owl record album collection that Joshua told you about, as well as the DVD An Evening in Austin, a fantastic package of gifts that we can send to you when you give us a call at 1-800-287-2722. And now we're going to go back to this fantastic program.
I'm looking forward to it. So let's see more of American music. Kate Wolf.
Welcome back to our program about Kate Wolf, and we're joined by Terry Fowler along with Max and Hannah Wolf, and we're going to talk about a period of Kate's life that you're very familiar with. Is that right, Terry?
Yes.
And you're going to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes.
Very good.
I first heard Kate in the spring of 1981 on a public radio folk music show, Across the Great Divide. And shortly after that, there was a live broadcast also for public radio of Kate and Nina Gerber playing Kate's songs in Robbie Osmond's living room. And I was really touched by the warmth and of her songwriting and the depth of it. And Kate was talking about in the Berkeley Hills that night they were going to continue the fundraiser.
Oh, yes.
And she was going to be playing up there with Riley Maloney and Utah Phillips. And so I just had this sense, I got to go see who this person is. I never heard any music like this before. So I went up there and met her, and then they got up on the stage and started playing, and it just transformed the whole room. And I found a quote that Kate had said that the music was just the vehicle and you're just a channel for it, referring to the musician. Right. So I started going to a lot of her shows and getting to talk to her afterwards, because she always came out and sold her LPs and signed them, and always wanted to talk to people about her music. And then I started helping her sell her CDs after a while so that she'd have more time to spend talking with people and signing them. And then many months later, we were at a mutual friend's house after a show in Sacramento, and she started talking about a vision quest that she was interested in going on with a group, Rites of Passage in Novato, California. And I was asking her questions about it. She gave me the contact, and then we next saw each other at the meeting that described about it, and we both signed up that night. And then a few weeks later, we all did a sweat lodge together up in Sonoma County, all the people going on it, including the guides. And then Kate was a guest at my house that evening, so she didn't have to drive back late over to Berkeley. And the next week she went up to Nevada City and at a friend's wedding and wrote and performed the Give Yourself to Love song.
You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after.
The next Thursday we met in Novato to head down to the Joshua Tree Desert on the Vision Quest. And it was we left at night, and the idea was that you're leaving your past behind, your past reality. You're traveling through the night in this awake dream state, and when you get to your destination, it's daylight, and you're beginning a renewal of a new experience in life.
I see.
So we ended up being camping buddies down there, which meant that for the 3-day solo one of us would we found a mutual site between us, and one would go in the morning and one in the afternoon and leave something to let the other person know we were okay. So the last night we built our own separate medicine wheels and slept inside, and then in the morning we were to get up, pack up, and head back to the main camp. And I stopped at our meeting place, and Kate had left a note to stop at her camp on the way back. So I stopped there. We ended up in her medicine wheel and decided that we wanted to share a life together. And there's a part of a lyric in her song Here in California that was kind of reminded me of that time. She said, "I'll take my time to know you, I'll take my time to see. There's nothing I won't show you if you take your time with me." Well, we had over a year to kind of gradually get to know each other, and then at that moment down in the desert, everything just kind of came to you. So we came back to Northern California, and she moved over to where I was in West Marin. She performed the medicine wheel song that she just written at our post-visit, post-gathering from the quest of the people. She had already started a massage school that she had signed up before, and halfway through she came at our home. She came and handed me a card and said, "I just wrote this for you," and I opened it up and it was the lyrics for Green Eyes.
Wow.
We after the massage school we went up to Canada festivals, and we were listening to Stan Rogers and his 45 Years song, which is I want to see your smiling face 45 years from now, and we decided that we were going to get married. And we planned to get married at the medicine wheel gathering in the fall up here in Sonoma County. And so Kate had made my wedding shirt, my daughter's dress, and then the first day up there she performed the medicine wheel song with all the attendees surrounding the big medicine wheel they built, and then the next day we got married inside of it. The next month she started the live recording of Give Yourself to Love, which had a lot of the songs that were representative of our journey during that period of time before and after the desert and the sharing of our life together. After the recording, a year later it came out, and she took a year off to spend time with her family and to rebuild her health. And that's it. That was a time to, it was like all these things came into place where she could finally take some time off and just rebuild herself and slow down from all the pushing with the music she'd done for so many years.
Right, a lot of work. What a great story. You guys remember any of this?
I remember her being in massage school and needing people to practice on. And I was a very, very willing volunteer at any moment.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're about to run out of time on this segment, unfortunately. Fortunately, what that means is that we're going to get to hear some more music, and we're actually going to get to hear that song, Green Eyes, and Gus and Don and Gloria are going to perform that for us.
Every night we light the candle that stands beside our bed. Sometimes the flame's too much to handle. That's what you said. That's what you said. And you should know, because you built the fire in me and you made it burn. You followed me, watching every move, matching every turn. Your green eyes, they don't miss a thing. me like the sun going down, and warm me like a fire in the night, without a sound. You were waiting till I heard, just as patient as the love light in your eyes. You never threw away a word or ever talked in a disguise I ought to know. You were a beacon to a sailor lost at sea. I saw it in your eyes when you looked at me so openly. Your green eyes, they don't miss a thing. They hold me like the sun going down, and warm me like a fire in the night, without a sound. The first time I heard your laughter break loose inside and tumble out to me, my heart knew that it had found what it was after, and it came so easily, and we should know. After all the years of the hard and the lonely times, now our days go by like a best friend storyline, yours and mine. Your green eyes, they don't miss a thing. They hold me like the sun going down, and warm me like a fire in the night, without a sound. Without a sound. Without a sound.
Hi, I'm Darren Lachelle, Content Manager for KRCB.
And I'm Joshua Dillon Mellors, a television producer here at KRCB.
In that last segment, we saw that fantastic rendition of Green Eyes with Gloria and Gus and Dawn. Beautiful music.
What a powerful performance, and it really showcases the power of folk music, a mandolin, a guitar, and a singer. And what a powerful performance that was. And we have some ways for you to sustain us and give us power here at KRCB, North Bay Public Media. We've got some great gifts, And I'd like to tell you about a few of them. Some CDs that will add to your Kate Wolf CD collection, and also some DVDs that I'd like to tell you about. At the $80 pledge level, you can get a CD and booklet entitled Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells. And this is one of the many stories from Kate's life, interpreted here in this new style of American choral singing, one based on the beautiful classic folk melodies and poetry of 12 songs. And at the $60 pledge level, we have a CD entitled A Kate Wolf Retrospective. Our public radio station, KRCB Public Media, has done a recording of the very first Kate Wolf Memorial Festival in 1996. We've also got at the $100 pledge level an Evening in Austin, which is a great 75-minute video soundtrack, which was awarded by Best Folk Album of 1989. And on this DVD, you'll see her performing some of her greats like The Red-Tailed Hawk, and Eyes of a Painter, and Green Eyes. At the $160 pledge level, we have a CD, 4 discs, Al Record albums, and another great opportunity to really get to know the wonderful music of Kate Wolf. So please give us a call at 1-800-287-2722 or go online to krcb.org/donate and make that donation now.
And when you do make that donation, consider becoming a sustaining member of KRCB North Bay Public Media. Now, sustaining membership means that you will be giving an ongoing gift to KRCB each and every month, and you can set it up however you like. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to become a member and donate to KRCB. You can give an ongoing monthly gift on your credit card. The great thing is you'll never forget to renew that membership, and it cuts down on mailings and reminders from KRCB, which is great for our environment and also great for you. You know how it is when you open your mailbox and it's just full of a bunch of mail asking you for things. Well, that won't happen with your sustaining membership. So give us a call now at 1-800-287-2722 and make your gift today. Now we're going to hear a special message from Terry Fowler talking about Kate Wolf.
Kate Wolf was a big supporter of public broadcasting and television, and it's wonderful to have this segment about her where she represented so much of Northern California, scenery and the feelings that go with this whole area. And we encourage you to call in to support these kind of programs and to learn more about Kate Wolf's music that reflects so much of what a lot of us feel.
It was great getting to know Terry and the kids of Kate Wolf during this program this evening. So take his advice. Call us now. Become a part of public television and make a difference.
The San Francisco Bay Area and the North Bay are a special place for music, and so is PBS and KRCB North Bay Public Media. And we really appreciate your support in keeping this a special place so that we can produce specials like this one, Kate Wolf, and really bring alive all that tradition that has occurred right here in the North Bay for you for years to come. All you need to do is pick up the phone and give us a call to make a donation, and you will be a part of that legacy that makes this area and this station special.
So call us now, 1-800-287-2722, to pledge your support to KRCB North Bay Public Media today. This is a special place for music. It's a place you know that you can come to at any time and find fantastic programming right here on your North Bay Public Television station. We are the only television station in the region, and we're here for you, your hometown station, to reflect what you want to see, what you want to hear on KRCB. We have some great gifts we can send your way when you call us right now, including at the $150 pledge level, the CD Unfinished Life, Dreams, Friendships, and Farewells, along with the DVD An Evening in Austin. At the $125 pledge level, we have a Kate Wolf retrospective CD, along with the DVD An Evening in Austin. Now, at the $200 pledge level, we can send you both CDs and your choice of the Kate Wolf songbook. So we could send you either Volume 1 which has 57 songs and is 160 pages with 75 photos, or you could choose Volume 2, which we could send you, which is 95 songs, 190 pages with 50 photos. Now at the $250 pledge level, we would love to send you the Owl Record Album Collection along with the DVD from Austin. This has been a fantastic program that we've watched here this evening, and I think it's a program that you could probably only find here on KRCB.
That's certainly the case, Darren. I mean, Kate Wolf was such a part of the North Bay and the Bay Area, and KRCB is also a part of the Bay Area, and this is a great time to show your support, and we appreciate you joining us here, and we'll see you next time.
You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Kind friends all gather round. There's something I must say. What brings us all together here has blessed us all today. I'm on my way. Give yourself to love has made a circle that holds us all inside. Where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love.
Higher, higher, higher. In the deepest night, the stars watch over me. Old woman of the north, my mind seeks clarity. I'm on